I started a print-on-demand store just a few short weeks ago, and past 7 days, it has done $12,429.35. That is a 15% increase over last week alone, and I couldn't be more excited. I've been documenting this process so people can see the process of starting from zero to hopefully 7 figures plus and see just how doable it is. And at the end of the video, I'm going to share my simple Facebook ad strategy that takes 10 minutes or less to set up and has generated us $12,000 to $15,000 per week for the last couple of months. All right, so diving right under the hood of our Shopify store, you can see the week of August 7th to the 13th. We started off by doing $1,822 on the 7th, then $1,979 on the 8th. It dipped down a little bit, did about $1,800 on the 9th. Then we had a really down day on, I think that was a Monday. Anyway, so we shot back up to $1,700 on the 11th, another $1,700 on the 12th, and $2,000 on the 13th. Which, as I've said in previous videos, Saturdays and Sundays, and Fridays to a lesser extent, are typically our strongest sales days. And comparing this to the previous period, which is just the 7 days before that, we are up 18%. Most companies aim for 5-10% per month, but we're seeing that per week right now. And I'm going to share how we're doing that in just a second. Obviously, this is not all profit. This is top line revenue. And I don't want there to be any misunderstanding about this. This is not the profit at the end of the day. Like during this week, we had $5,277.46 owed to our print-on-demand supplier, Printify. So that's our cost of goods sold. Then on top of that, we had $142.17 in discounts and refunds. We had another $532.07 in Shopify and PayPal transaction fees. Spent a whopping $4,200 on Facebook and Google ads. We had about $300 in our overhead expenses, like our software, Shopify subscriptions, that sort of thing, which brings us to a total operating expense of $5,036.68. And that gives us a profit for the week of $2,026.63. But then we have the added bonus of using a Capital One 2% cash back card, which gives us an extra $195 of pure profit in our pocket since we put everything on that card. So being transparent, we did 12.4K in sales last week, but it was only about $2,000 in actual profit in our pockets. So it's nice, but it's nothing to get too excited about or certainly to be bragging about. But the reason I am excited is I have a strong reason to believe that this is going to continue well into the future at consistent 15 to 20% growth week over week. And the main reason for that, out of all of the things that we're doing, is that our Facebook ads have been performing at such a consistent and reliable level that I don't really see any reason that they would stop. What I'm doing is increasing the budgets by 10 to 15% every 2 to 3 days, which may not sound like a lot, but that amount compounds very quickly. And the reason I'm doing 10 to 15% is because that's a amount that is well documented to not reset your ads back into the learning phase. We spent a lot of time talking about this in the past, but basically the learning phase is when your ads in Facebook are just trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And I used to completely ignore this. I thought it was just Facebook trying to, I don't know, make more money off me somehow. But it's really true. The more time that our ads spend in the learning phase is the less money in our pocket. So once I have a campaign that's running well, I try to avoid making any changes except for those to the budget. And the ones I do make to the budget are typically relatively low, 10 to 15%. And the structure that I'm using for these campaigns could not be simpler, and it has a massive potential audience to reach, meaning that I don't see any reason that it should burn out anytime soon thanks to the audience size and the amount of creative that I'm feeding it, which may sound complicated, but it really isn't. The Facebook ad campaign structure that I'm using is I have one campaign for testing, which is basically where I just throw any new ads or products or anything that I think might do well at an extremely low budget, like 5 to 10% of our overall spend. So that's the first campaign. And the second campaign is my dynamic product ads. Again, this is at a lower budget, but the goal of this campaign is to let Facebook cycle through and test out all of the products in my catalog that I've paired from Shopify and find winning products for me that maybe just are further down in my collection in Shopify and haven't gotten too many sales yet. So out of the testing and DPA campaigns, once I find winners, basically ads or products that have been performing well, I then take those ads or the images and I turn it into a page post ad. And the reason I do that is that when I make it into a page post ad, it builds up that engagement, which is key for an ad to really start to scale. People need to see social proof on it. They need to see likes, comments, and shares. There's a big portion of the audience on these platforms that will only interact with ads, myself included, that have a large number of social proof engagements already mapped out for it. They don't want to take the risk of being the first one to test the waters. So I do the testing campaign, DPA, and then the winners I put into my main CBO, or campaign budget optimization. And I do just 3 or 4 ad sets, all open targeting, auto placements, auto everything. I used to go super detailed, not anymore. Auto everything, and then I do 3 or 4 ads per ad set. Extremely simple. I recommend mixing it up between like images and videos, but play around with it. That's what your testing campaign is for. It's basically your playground, so just try out new stuff. You'll never waste any time by making new ads and launching them and testing. It's always a great investment of your time. So always have a lot of new stuff being played around with. Even if it's at a super low budget, like $5 to $10 per day, that's better than nothing when it comes to testing out new concepts in the background. Basically, it's your bullpen so that once your main campaign maybe starts to dip a little bit, you have 3, 4, 5 backups ready to go, ready to be pulled up out of the minors and thrown into the big leagues with your main CBO. And with the 3 to 4 ad sets, about 12 to 16 ads, unique ads in total in that campaign, I typically started at $25 to $50 if I don't have much budget to be working with, but ideally I'd start at $200 to $250 per day, and then I just start slowly increasing it from there. 15% every 2 to 3 days, and I just let that ride out. I used to get super greedy and I would start to double it and triple it, and those days are behind me. It's far easier to manage the ads like this, and especially when I add in the 4th campaign, which is retargeting. It's absolutely crucial to have retargeting set up, otherwise I'm just leaving money on the table. All the other campaigns were to cold traffic. Retargeting is my warm, hot, and existing customers, capitalizing on the cream of the crop. And let me know in the comment section if you want a more detailed video on how to set up retargeting ads. But basically, you go to audiences, create an audience for people who abandon cart, and then throw that into an ad set, and Facebook will get back in front of the people who were about to check out but didn't for whatever reason. So between those 4 campaigns, I'm extremely optimistic about how it's been performing and that it'll continue like this in the future. And a couple of things that have been working well outside of just the ads is we've invested a lot of time into the email marketing and creating new designs using AI, and just not getting greedy in general, planning to do this for the long haul and not trying to double or triple our budgets, planning to be running this brand for 12, 24, 36 months completely changes our mindset about how we're approaching it. I used to just think month to month, or if not week to week. Switching our time horizon, to use the Alex Hormozi term, has really changed the game and how we're looking at this. So that's our update for this week. We did about 12.4K in sales, 2K in profit, covered the stuff that's been working well and how I think it's going to continue to perform. So be sure to tune in next week to see whether I'm right or if my strategy just completely falls apart and blows up in my face. Hopefully not, but thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video, and be sure to let me know in the comment section what other types of content or info about the brands you want to see me cover. I'm happy to share anything that would be useful for you guys. And yeah, let me know in the comment section if there's anything I can do to help. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.